fees, you got TBD. I'm sure that means to be determined.
You've got to decide, one, what those fees are going to be, and two, whether or not you want to simply have an authorization where, fees should be established, by resolution of the town board, from time to time essentially, so that you, when you want to adjust those fees, you don't have to go back and repass the local law. You're really going to, I think, just want to authorize the board to set those fees by resolution.
That would be similar to what we do with our other codes and building permits and that type of thing.
So you don't have to repass the local law,
Change.
deduct the fees for whatever reason.
So it's correct in leaving it as to be determined.
Well, no, we need to put something
In there before.
in there before, before we enact the local law.
Okay.
But you've got to decide, yes, how you're going to do it. What you're going to do.
That's why I asked the question.
Is everybody on page 20 now? The big one out here is the turbine height of 400 feet. What's everybody think of that figure?
Well, I'd like to know how the planning board determined 400 feet.
Roger.
Well, you have 392 feet, you have 450 feet, you have 492 feet, and 499 feet. Of course, as the height goes up, those are basically your heights to pick from. As your height goes up, then your setback increases, which means less turbines. But you get a 500 footer at 1.6 megawatts output, but you can also get a 392 footer at the same output.
And we just felt that the 500 feet limit was just excessive, and that 400 was reasonable. We settled in on 400 feet. There's a lot of debate going on regarding that as far as, the maximum height and stuff, that just seemed reasonable.
And there's a different noise factor between the variations of plates too.
Those 500 footers are monsters.
Well, I do want to say that with our survey, even though it's not complete, we haven't compiled all of the data yet, 80–90% of the people have stated that they don't want the huge 500-foot industrial turbines. We have seen that, we've seen it, and Greg has seen it, and all of us that have gone through that data, that is one thing that the public is not interested in, is 500-foot turbines.
The ones on Carl's property, they're 315 feet.
And the ones at Pearl Hill are 392.
They're 392, but they do also, in Fenner, they have one 450 footer that replaced that one as well.
You stand at the bottom of them, they all look big, but you keep seem to think that 500 feet would be real excessive.
Where'd you buy
From what the
your
survey
tape?
is.
From the boys down the road, that's what they told me.
You said, okay, what, 315? Carl, how tall are they?
315 on Stone Road.
I never measured them, but I know they're a good deal taller than that.
That was the figure that they gave me at best.
Yeah. They're,
I wasn't quite tall enough to measure them.
yeah.
So who's
I'm
gonna,
not either, so.
who's gonna measure the ones that come in?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can do it, they're pretty tall.
Okay.
So, we're gonna go with the planning board's recommendations on 400 feet, or?
That is a footage that companies are still using.
I would say it's actually a 400 footer, but that's just a limit set, so I think it would be 390 something falling.
We just don't wanna make a standard that they don't even make.
But that's just a limit.
Okay. Right.
You okay with that, Dick Rick?
I would accept the planning board recommended.
Myself included.
Page 21, you were kind of questioning number 11.
Number 11, the word impacted, I think is, an impact to me might be different from an impact to somebody else, so I would like the for impacted struck from that.
So you wanted to say, any ISWEF industrial scale wind energy facility shall be designed, constructed, and operated according to applicable standards. Land protected by conservation easements may not be used, period.
Conservation easements are going to prevent it anyway. So much preference.
Well, it might be a little bit redundant, but land protected by conservation easements may not be used. She wants to eliminate impacted.
Yeah, the conservation easement prevents you from using.
So we could actually strike the whole,
It doesn't hurt.
okay. Is
And then
everybody-
just wipe out the one word.
2 words.
Yeah, because say there's a tower and the property next to it, they could say that impacts it in a way that visually not as nice. I'm just thinking.
You leaving a sentence or we're just taking out the word?
To work or impacted.
I agree.
What are you looking at?
Reading over number 14, it struck me that our highway department starts very early in the morning. As a farmer, I have to start very early because summers are short and you have to make use of every daylight hour you have. I realize not everybody gets up at the crack of dawn like we have to. But I think 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. is too restrictive.
I would like to see 7 to 7, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That would hurt anybody's quality of life.
you want to interject 7 to 7 instead of the 8 AM to 6 PM, unless written permission on a case-by-case basis and for good causes granted by the town.
That's my thoughts. Okay with that? You all right with that, Jim?
Granted by who was that? Town planning board?
Planning board.
Obviously, planning.
Call it out your 201.
Town attorney. Number 15 on page 22. Wells. It's a mile and a half, testing the wells. Is that excessive?
What was your recommendation of the planning board, Roger?
We thought a half mile, we were talking half mile.
We talked about it the first time, and never go back.
I went back to it, yeah.
We missed it.
Okay.
So you meant to have a half
Okay.
Probably should only be used if it's black. Really want to get it right, unless they're blasting, we wouldn't have to test anybody's well.
Well, if they have to test well within half a mile, it's not a big deal. Just want to make people feel more comfortable. Correct.
We don't worry about it.
No.
I mean, it does.
If you got a copy.
These listed already, which we did here. Yeah, so. Okay, that should be.
Well, this is it.
This is
Yep.
16.
On page 22, it's going to be number 17 and 18, or 15 and 17.
Correct.
All right, are we on 16 on page 22?
Correct.
On the first one, to be cited in such a way as to restrict solar access, could we put solar panel access, if that was what the intention of the planning board was?
Yeah, this one is solar panel.
Solar panel
Solar
access.
panel access, not solar access.
Okay.
Because that
We'll
word
just insert the word panel.
And I would like the next sentence struck because it says that no ISWAF shall be inconsistent with the current prevailing uses and development trends in any portion of the town. Well, these are going on agricultural land, and that is really sort of inconsistent with it. So if we want to place them, we really can't have that sentence in there, in my opinion.
I think they'd be consistent with if they were put where there's wind
Or
farms.
there's other wind farms.
I agree, I don't think that's necessary, I think we can admit that.
Planning board see that?
Yep.
Yes, I do. I'm okay with it.
And then the last one,
Jim,
5,
Brad, you okay with that?
And then this is
and then I put down
the
5.
same message we're coming across.
Where it says discourage the development and use of land, residence, or structures owned by any non-participating property owners and its successors, or impair the value of the land, residence, or structures, or other factors as deemed appropriate by the planning board. I think that's way too broad. It's a very broad, generalized statement. And I think we should admit that.
It was combined, under, it should be 6, VI, should start at the, or impair the value of their land. There should be another subsection below that, VI, Roman numeral VI 6. It was included in the same, in 5. Redundant issue you're talking about, Greg, see 5 on the bottom, and 17?
Yep.
You get to the point after non-participating property owner and the successors, period. And then it should be another subsection, VI, or impair the value of their land, residence, or structures. Right. And then after that would be 7, or other factors as deemed appropriate by the planning board.
Well, that's,
What was the discussion there, it was one paragraph. Bill recommended we do it in a vertical order, and when it was reformatted, that became a run-on sentence with 5, 6, and 7.
Well, I think it's very, the way it's written, it's very broad.
And again, that was our material that we received from the committee. It was just in a different format in one paragraph.
Well, the way I look at it, I still feel very strongly that that should be omitted. Discourage the development and use of land, residence, or structures owned by any non-participating property owners and its successors, should be their successors, or impair the value of their land.
That was another subsection below it, or impair was another section below. What it should read, right, is no ISWEF shall, under 5, discourage the development and use of land, residence, or structures owned by any non-participating property owner and its successors. Then 6, right below that, no ISWEF shall impair the value of their land, residence, or structures. And then 7 would be other factors deemed appropriate by the planning board. It could be rewritten, reworded and stuff, but I mean, that was all the stuff that was in there.
Well, the way this is written, I want it omitted.
And that's something that the town board may want to do and stuff like that. It was material that we didn't change in there, is what I'm saying. So if you guys want to reword it or omit it, that's,
I'd like to have it edited again, to have what you have in front of you.
okay.
Because the way it is right here, it does not make any sense.
Well, let's work together and make it sense, okay? I got the old one right here. No ISWEF shall, be cited in such a way as to restrict solar access on the property of a non-participating property owner. I, be inconsistent with the current prevailing uses and development trends in any portion of the town. 3, imperil public health and safety. 4, induce vibrations. 5, discourage the development and use of land, residence, or structure owned by any non-participating property owner and its